Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hot Flush Happy Hour.
We're so glad you're here. Grab a drink, maybe a herbal tea if your cortisol is already spiking, or a wine if it's been that kind of day. And let's settle in.
In today's episode, we're talking about how to stay human and informed without absolutely losing your mind when the world feels like it's on fire.
But before we get into the heavy lifting, Tori, I feel like you've been in the absolute wars lately. You've had a month of it, haven't you?
Yeah, that I have. Probably more than a month, actually. So perimenopause definitely was kicking my butt for a while there. I think as I've mentioned before, like after Christmas and then January, I was got completely off track with my regular workouts and food. And then the universe decided that I needed to get sick on top of that. So that wasn't much fun. And then yeah, I was just sort of just starting to like, 'cause I was getting back on track. I was starting to get my groove back. I was feeling good. And then my uterine fibroids decided to rear their ugly heads. And I ended up with a week of really awful PMS, followed by a 12-day period. Yeah, it wasn't fun. It was very painful and tiring. It's like your body's actually staging a protest against you. But I pushed through it as you do, as women do, right? We don't just, we've got to still get on with shit. So that's what I did, just in pain. But no, I'm actually feeling much better now on the other side. Um, so that's good, and hoping that they don't rear their ugly head again like that again. But who knows? We'll see. But yeah, but in amongst all that, I actually did win a silver medal at a karate tournament. So I haven't been in a karate tournament for decades. I wouldn't say decades, but over 10 years. And I won a silver medals in continuous sparring, which was pretty cool. So, and I actually think half of the women talking to us, who was all like, I think half of them in my event were either premenstrual or menstrual. And then the men wondered why our fights seemed so much more brutal. But I think that's
Congratulations.
why
Go
we're all just like,
Go girls.
yeah. How have you been, Kat?
Yeah, good, good. My hubby's birthday at the weekend, so that was a nice catch up, lovely dinner. Celebrating. My health journey is going extremely well. 13 kilos down at the moment, so feeling really good. Aches and pains have pretty much subsided. I did have a back where a week where I couldn't move because of my back. I'd injured it, probably pushing a little too much, doing some extra work. But all in all, it's been going really well. So positive on the up. The things
Yay.
get it.
Yes. No, that's amazing. And you're looking amazing too. So, but the feeling amazing part's like the even better bit, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Aches
Yeah.
and pains
Sure.
and the
Not,
arthritis has really,
yeah.
really been reduced so much.
Yeah. Not having that is awesome. So, anyway, enough about us. Let's get into today's topic. So, we just thought with everything going on in the world right now, we would just do this quick bit of an episode. But it kind of really feels like since 2020, we've never had a proper exhale. We keep waiting for things for the reset, right? We thought after COVID, things would settle, and then it was a war in Ukraine, and then an inflation spike, and the housing crisis, and the cost of living crisis, and the Israeli Palestine conflict. And now it's the war in Iran, and with fuel prices and supply being so unpredictable. The conflict involving Iran is directly hitting our local supply chains. Well, it was, mind you, that keeps changing every day at the moment. So since we first wrote this script, and maybe once you listen to this, that's changed again. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's where the global becomes local. It's not just a sad story on the news anymore. It's the fact that your grocery bill just hit a new record and you're wondering if you should cancel the weekend road trip because of the petrol costs. And don't get me wrong, what we are experiencing here are first world problems and nothing compared to the devastation that people in war torn countries are experiencing. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't affect us.
And the sciencey bit that we often forget is our nervous systems aren't built for this. So evolutionary, we are wired to handle the stress of our village, maybe a few dozen people. But now that we are carrying the trauma of 8 billion people in our pockets, especially for women in our stage of life, we're actually the sandwich generation. So we're worrying about our kids' futures, we're worrying about our aging parents, navigating our own hormonal shifts, which is a challenge in itself.
Mm.
And then we add global warfare and economic collapse to the to-do list.
Yeah. And your body doesn't actually know the difference between a tiger in the room and breaking news notification. It releases the same amount of cortisol. So even if you're sitting on your couch with a cup of tea and you're scrolling through war footage, your body thinks you're in the trenches. And then there's the guilt. Like I feel like if I stop looking, I'm being privileged or ignorant. There's this witnessing guilt, isn't there?
It's a huge guilt, and we feel like our suffering by proxy is somehow helping. But let's be real, your high blood pressure doesn't lower fuel costs. Your lack of sleep doesn't bring peace to the Middle East, unfortunately.
Mm.
So that's the hard truth to swallow. But staying informed to the point of paralysis actually makes us less helpful to the people around us. So if you're a shell of a human because you've been doom scrolling for 3 hours, you can't show up for your family or your community or even for your own life. So this is the time for us to focus on what we can control to live our life rather than stressing over what I guess is out of our control, what we can't,
Yeah.
control in our life.
Yeah. So then how do we actually deal with this? It's not about sticking our heads in the sand. It's about digital hygiene. It's okay to switch off the TV and not watch the news. Take a break from your phone, etc. We're not saying ignore what's happening or don't care, but there's a point where being informed turns into being completely consumed by it. So how do we stay aware but not overwhelmed?
I think it actually comes back to being intentional, to be honest. So things like stop checking anything heavy first thing in the morning or watching the news all day. Thinking about what can I do today that is in my control to help my nervous system. Living my life as normally as I would is a great tip.
Yeah, same. And, yeah, just limiting how often you check things, it can actually help so much.
Something that can help is asking what's actually happening in my life right now. And most of the time, things are okay personally because it brings you back to your real life, not everything happening globally. I also love asking, is this mine to carry? So you may have what's going on in the world, but you may also have some things personally going on in your life. So I guess kind of blanking out what's going on in the world for a short time so that you can handle what is actually happening with yourself in your own world, not taking on both. There's no need to take on both. We're emotional hoarders. We like to take everything that we can on board. But just for a minute, let what's going on externally in the world lie while you control what's going on within your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and I guess something else, you know, like it's okay to, because there will be some people who, they might even have family members over, in these war torn countries, or, they really are getting stressed about, rising fuel costs or, um, but that's still okay to take that time out. It's still okay. You've got that to care about, and that's fine. But sometimes it's still okay to take that time out for yourself. Um, And I also another thing I think I wanted to bring up was we all need to remember that we've been through all these things before. Especially like I know as a Gen X, like for us, we've been through things. I know in the 80s as a kid, I was always worried there was going to be a nuclear war because the tension between US and Russia. In the early 90s, we had the Gulf War. In the early 2000s, it was 9/11, and then the war in Afghanistan. So we have been through a lot of this sort of stuff before, and we did come out the other side and the world was okay. And I think sometimes we need to remind ourselves of that, we've been here before and yeah, it was not nice, but we came out the other
Like
side.
a reset. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's sad that history keeps repeating itself in these horrible ways, but
it does. And then the new comes in. So there'll be something new on the other side, but we've just got to, get through this one. And however that looks, it could be for a few years, but it's just we wanted to tap into this for, our menopausal women, I guess, that are going through enough as it is to know that it's not something extra that you need to take on 24/7.
yeah.
I guess is what we're trying to say is
Yeah.
still take time out for yourself, um, what you can control, and know that you're going to be okay and you are going to get through this. whatever that may be for you. So we can take it back to the basics of, grounding, just taking 5 minutes out for yourself, switch off with what's going on out there, you know, um, short breaths, doing a breathing exercise to calm your nervous system. You're not wanting to walk through, all your day with the tension, with the anxiety, with the stress of everything that you're carrying. Always remember that you can take 5 minutes out just to ground, switch off from everything and then reset for the next part of your day.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Or, even for me, sometimes it's just a case of going down and for a walk on the beach or sitting just looking in the
Mm.
ocean because that's kind of like my kind of meditation for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also just me personally, like I as much as I do sometimes get into the whole doom scroll thing, because I get caught up and then I'm reading comments and I'm like, I just kind of am at the point though in my life where when this all first started happening, I was like, oh my God, like it's gonna be a world war. There's gonna be, and your head starts going to those places. And then I just kind of went, you know what? No, just you don't know. Don't start thinking, oh, well, this might happen, that might happen, because we really don't actually know. And it's better just to take it day by day and not worry about what could happen. Just take each day as it comes, really, is probably the best way. And like I said, it's perfectly fine to just switch off and just forget about the rest of the world for a while. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And everyone's different, and what they choose to watch, what their opinion is about everything. There's so many different things out there. Like I choose not to watch the media, but I choose to see what other people's insights are. So everyone is so different and there's no wrong or right.
No, it is
Just
not.
know that there's no wrong or right. What you choose to do is up to you, but just don't get stuck in the negatives
Yeah,
and anything that you can't control. It
yeah,
all comes back to that. What you can't control, don't stress about. Try not to stress it out.
for sure.
Mhm.
So you can be a compassionate, informed human being and still have a joyful life. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, finding joy right now is an act of rebellion. Don't know if I call it rebellion, but okay.
Protecting your peace isn't selfish either. It's maintenance. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you certainly can't pour from a cup that's full of toxic sludge.
No, that's not very nice. Ew.
No. So, yeah. And there's so much toxic information out there, posts and people and comments out on social
Yeah.
media. So pull back. Don't, if you're
Yeah.
starting to feel like you're going down that toxic rabbit hole, put the phone down and go for a walk, stand outside or make a cup of tea and just
Yeah.
get yourself out of that situation.
Yeah. Read a book. Get your head into
Yeah.
something else. So yeah, as you head into the rest of your day, we want you to check in. Look at your phone. Is it a tool for connection right now, or is it a weapon against your peace?
Take one thing off your mental plate today as well. Just one. Give yourself permission to not know everything for 24 hours.
So that is the end of this episode. It is short and sweet for this one. It was just kind of a little extra we wanted to do because, yeah, we just felt like it was relevant right now.
So if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, follow, and share.
You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Inspired Actions Co. You can check out our website, inspiredactionsco.com, where you can book a life coaching set. Fuck's sake. We were doing so well.
I know, right?
Oh, God. All right, start again. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Inspired Actions Co. You can check out our website, inspiredactionsco.com, where you can book a life coaching session with myself or an energy healing or breathwork session with Kat, which might be really great for you right now, or enroll in one of our workshops.
You can also find us on School, and that is SKOOL.
Amazing. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will be with you whenever next time.
Take care.